What's happening, wrestling fans? I'm Bill Saunders with Total Access Wrestling, and I got a special guest for us today, Mr. Chad Epik.
That is professional wrestling's last great manager. And we're not on a first-name basis, so it's Mr. Epik. You're standing, remember this, you're standing where I used to stand a few years ago. So put a little respect on my name if you're going to ask me questions.
That is true. My dad said, never mess with a man in pink. So, Chad, we know that you're a manager. When did you start out? When did you start out as manager? How long?
This is actually will be my 10th year doing this. Manager, commentating, and of course ring announcing. I do everything that's needed involving a microphone. It's like kind of like a moth to a flame. If I see a little red light, I'm there. And the funny thing is your boss, Mr. Damien Darkside, who is a huge supporter of mine, is one of the guys who helped me start out in this business 10 years ago.
Great. Who do you think was your biggest influencer as a manager?
What do you mean, like pro, independent, what, just all over?
I mean, yeah, any sort of professional wrestling manager that you sort of looked up to back in the day and you decided that you wanted to?
Well, of course, the typical answer is Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Okay.
No matter what. Actually, if you turn around and look at the other side of the table, Joel Gertner, a man who had no limits, no bounds right there. And of course, I already mentioned his name, Mr. Damien Darkside, who's a huge supporter to help me get into the business. All right. And of course, let's see, you got guys like Joey Styles as commentator. Probably the best commentator, Mr. Jim Ross and Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon. Anyone who knew how to use this microphone was an influence and still is.
Excellent. Now tell our fans where they can now see you now and in the future.
Well, for right now, tomorrow night in Pawtucket, that's June 9th, all right, at 225 Condit Street. Look at this right here. It's level 4, the Proving Ground. Our main event is the first ever Proving Ground champion, the Ace Mike Montero versus the Devil's Reject, Brandon Webb. Of course, we have the newly inducted Hall of Fame member, Chris Venom, the Revolution. And he's going to be taking on your chaotic wrestling heavyweight champion, Christian Casanova. Wow. Of course, the team that I have to mention, the Middlesex Express, my boys, my team, will also be in action. It's going to be the King's Court, the King Leon the 7th. He's borrowing my Middlesex Express to take on the Dick Busters and so much more tomorrow in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Great. Also, everywhere you can catch me at H2O. We can ERA out of Michigan. You have Horace Slam. You have everything this side of the Mississippi. Like I said, if there's a microphone or a camera, you're going to see Mr. Epik there.
My 4th grade teacher always said, middle sex is better than no sex. Mr. Chad Epik, it was great interviewing you.
Well, as I always say, the pleasure has been all yours, and I already forgot your name. So, Total Access Wrestling, you might see me later.